got something cool in the post today. A few of these cables, which I think are referred to as trigger cables. And the point of this is that you connect this to a USB power delivery or quick charge or something power supply, and some electronics in here will make sure that its output 12 volts or 15 volts or whatever the cable is configured for at the other end. And my plan is to hopefully be able to use this for some QRP radios, so that I can actually get away with just bringing along a normal USB power supply when I go operating portable QRP. So we'll see how they work and find out if that's an impossible dream or not. So to do that, we will use the electronic load, and first of all we will start by connecting a power meter. Oh, that was very glary. Let's see if we can make that a little less glary. Yeah, much better. And all right, yeah. It's a power meter for the output of the, this is a normal power supply. And right away we can see, hopefully we can see, that this activated 12 volts. Here, let's do that again, just to make sure. Put this in, and as soon as we put the cable in, it activates 12 volts on the output. So we'll connect this end to the electronic load, and we can also see now we see 12 volts on the output. So we will activate the electronic load and see what happens. This is 100 milliamps, and this is reading about 110 milliamps or 0.11 amps. Looks about right. The power supply hasn't noticed any usage yet, so let's up it to 0.5 amps and re-enable. We can see now the voltage has fallen a little bit below 12 volts, but I think this is still acceptable. Let's go for 1 full amp. See what happens. Yeah, still a little bit drop in voltage. That could be probably because this is a fairly thin wire. And yeah, let's see what it says up here. No, still, I think the output of the power supply is actually quite low, because it says 11.8, and we're seeing 11.8 at the electronic load. So let's up this to 2 amps, like this, and we turn it on, and it falls to 11.6 volts, and this one says 11.7, so yeah, we're still in the ballpark and drawing 2 amps. I think this is still quite acceptable, so we'll up it to 3 amps. And yeah, you can hear the fan now on the electronic load starting up. We are drawing 3 amps, but the voltage has fallen to 11.4 volts. And this one says 11.7, so that might mean that we actually have a bit of loss in the wiring at this point. Let's continue upwards for 4 amps. And it's fallen to 11 volts, 11.1 volts. And this says 11.6, so that sort of makes sense that we might have this loss in the cable. This as well says 4.1 amps, so it agrees with all the rest of the measurements. I'm not sure really how much this is meant to deliver, this power supply, so I'll up it one more time to 5 amps and see what happens. And we see the voltage falls to 10.9 volts, and this says 11.4. so yeah, I didn't pay particularly much for this device, so this could easily be wrong. But again, I'm guessing we're seeing some loss in the cables there. But as far as I can see, the cable is doing a most excellent job, going up to at least all the way up to 5 amps. So let's turn this off, put it back to 500 milliamps, and try with a power bank instead. So this is a small one that I use for my Whisper transmitter beacons. If we put this in there, we'll see, yeah, this that gave us 5 volts and nothing else. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so this does not understand the negotiation to get more than 5 volts, quite obviously. This is rather important. If you're going to use it for radio, you should be sure that it will actually deliver what is needed. Let's try a bigger one. This one, we will put you in there, and let's see what happens. Yeah, that triggered, well, maybe not 12, but at least 11.9, and the electronic load says 12 volts flat. So let's turn it on and see what happens. And at only 500 milliamps, that actually reduced the voltage by 0.1, 0.15 volts. So let's continue upwards, see what happens. We'll go up to 1 amp. And yeah, we're still at 11.9 volts. And this measurement agrees, both with the voltage and the current. So let's go up to 2 amps. See what happens. Yeah, the voltage now has fallen on the load to 11.4, and we see 11.6 coming out of the power bank. Still probably usable, but now sort of borderline whether or not this is a good idea for a radio. Let's up it to 3 amps, see what happens. Enter. And 1. And you can see it completely fell apart. This was supposed to be 12 volts, and at 3 amps it delivers 6 volts, 6.2 volts. And yeah, this agrees as well. It does deliver 3 amps, but this is probably not good for the power bank. So let's turn that off and go down to 2.5 amps. See what happens. Yeah, that's 8.8 volts. Still no good. 2.1 amps. And already there we're seeing 10.9 volts. So it's probably 2 amps is about the limit of what I can get out of this power bank. So it might be good enough for let's say the 817, but I don't think I would want to use this for the G90 or the FX4CR. I have one more power bank. This is probably getting long, but we'll see what we can manage. This is actually the one I use, but with the DC output. I use this for other activities as well, but we'll put it into the USB-C output and see what happens. And this needs to be manually turned on as well. Here we go. Yeah, that's 11 volts it says. Can you see that? Let's hope. Let's yeah. We will go for the 0.5 amps and turn it on, see what happens. Yeah, still 12 volts at half an amp, 6 watts. Go for the full 1 amp, see what happens. Still 12.1 volts, and this agrees. Fantastic. 2 amps. And it still delivers 12.0 volts, and this says 12.2, so probably a bit of loss in the cables at this point. But anyway, 24 watts, not too bad. Let's try 2.5. This is where the other power supply fell completely to pieces. And this, yeah, it oscillates. It's trying to deliver that amount of power, but it's just not able to. Let's say 2.2. See what happens. Yeah, still at 2.2. 2.1. Yeah, still the same, 2.2, 2.1 amps, trying to get that out of it, and still just oscillating. 2 flat, let's see. That it manages just fine. That probably means that the protection circuit in this power supply is quite good, which is good. And if you can get away with just the 24 watts at 12 volts, I would say that this is a good power supply, even going out through the USB-C port. So, yep. That is all for today. Clearly, if I want to do this with some more powerful radios, I would need to get a more powerful power bank. So I will do this test again at a later stage when I get a hold of a nice, powerful power bank. If you have suggestions, I would really love to hear them in the comments. So if you know of a good power bank, there's a place to comment down here. If you like this sort of content, you are invited to click the like button, and if you would like to see the follow-up for more powerful power banks, then please do subscribe. And until next time, I'd say just 7-3.